The Native American culture's openness to and acceptance of a wide range of sexual orientations and gender identities is one of the most interesting and enticing features of Native American sexuality. Several indigenous communities held the belief that some people were born with two spirits, one male and one female, and that these people possessed characteristics of both sexes. They were typically respected as mediators between the physical and spiritual realms, playing key roles in the rites and celebrations of the tribal communities in which they participated. People of two spirits enjoyed a high level of respect among their respective societies. They frequently held positions of power and were regarded as peacemakers and balance keepers within the tribe. This helped maintain harmony and equilibrium. Their singular viewpoints on sexuality and gender were a challenge to the conventions that eventually developed in the Western world. Native American society was fundamentally built on the institution of courtship rites. Young people were given the opportunity to investigate their own sexuality during these ceremonies, which also served to prepare them for the responsibilities that come with entering adulthood. The manner in which these rituals were carried out differed from tribe to tribe, but in general, they consisted of dancing, telling stories, and even competing in athletic competitions to exhibit one's dexterity and agility. Courtship was valued as a sacramental process in their society, and during this time, participants had the opportunity to learn more about themselves while also becoming closer to others. This allowed courtship to serve a dual purpose of bringing individuals closer together. It was essential to search for a life partner who would complete you and encourage you in every facet of your existence, including the physical and spiritual spheres. And this was a significant part of the process. Native American communities generally maintained the concept that sexual activity and intimate personal connections were components of life that should be appreciated for their inherent beauty and naturalness. This belief was prevalent throughout most of Native American history. Celebrations of sexual pleasure were commonplace in many traditional indigenous societies all over the world as a method of creating spiritual connection and rebirth. The rituals that were performed in honor of fertility were very interesting to observe. They were carried out in order to assure the continued existence of their tribes, as well as to pay gratitude to the bountiful nature of the land where they lived. It was believed that, through utilizing sexual energy during these rites, the connection between the material world and the spiritual realm could be strengthened. During these ceremonies, participants would often engage in activities such as singing, dancing, and community gathering. We were able to convey our understanding of sexuality by means of many forms of artistic expression. Sacred symbols, such as the fertility symbols found in pottery and rock art, were commonly included in order to convey the force and vitality connected with sexual energy. This was done in a number of different ways. Both ancient and contemporary artists have used these symbols in their work. When it comes to issues of sexuality, however, it is vital to keep in mind that Native American cultures did not exist in a vacuum, free of challenges and controversies. This is something that must be kept in mind at all times. The arrival of European settlers, who frequently enforced restrictive attitudes on sexuality and romantic relationships, resulted in significant shifts in their way of life, which led to the development of new cultural practices. Native American societies were subjected to a substantial amount of disruption as a direct result of the collision of these two cultures. As a direct and immediate consequence of the imposition of Western values and the eradication of our indigenous practices, our communities have sustained damage that cannot be repaired. Not only did we lose our land, but we also lost our cultural history, which included our different viewpoints on sexuality and gender. This was a significant loss for our people. The Huron are a native people who can be found across the continent of North America, particularly in the states of Michigan and Quebec, where their ancestors continue to live in 4 different settlements. Kansas and Oklahoma are 2 states that can be found in entirely different regions of the continent. Their progenitors from the 17th century gained widespread notoriety in Europe as a result of the works that were produced by Jesuit missionaries who were stationed in that region at the time. Gabriel Sagard, a member of the Recollect order and not a Jesuit, was present at a sexual ceremony involving the one dead brother when he was with the one dead in the years 1623 and 1624. This took place while Gabriel Sagard was with the one dead. This particular occurrence is the only one that has been recorded in writing, and hence, It serves as the most effective illustration of this idea. This event played an important part in the healing process, not only in the culture of Huron, but also in the county itself. After the females have been gathered together in this way, they are questioned one after the other about which of the young men in the town they would most like to have a sexual encounter with. The following evening, each name was selected as the winner, and those individuals were immediately contacted by the masters of the ritual. Those individuals then arrived in the evening to sleep with those who had selected them in the presence of the sick woman from one end of the lodge to the other, and they passed the entire night to us. While the two leaders at the two ends of the house chant and rattle the tortoiseshells from dusk until morning, when the ceremony is finally over, the event is said to have been successful. It is essential to take into account the fact that it was the young ladies, not the young men, who made the selections. This exemplifies the significance of women and the respect they are shown. To indicate that you desire to take part in the event, you might say something along the lines of, "Tanda quanditan be enveloped in sex for me." By 1649, when the most Christian of the villages was in danger of being driven out of the traditional territory, the Jesuits were striving to abolish this ritual. This was during the time of the Spanish Inquisition. It touches on a variety of facets of the traditional culture of one-dad household. It seems to illustrate that their publicly expressed attitude towards sex was one that it was something to celebrate rather than constrain. And it suggests that female sexuality was something thought natural rather than some constructed construct. Additionally, it seems to demonstrate that they publicly articulated attitude towards sex was one that it was something to celebrate rather than limit. In addition to this, it gives the impression that the feminine sexuality was something that was considered natural rather than something that was created. This site was once home to a society that belonged to the Aboriginal people before the arrival of white male furry settlers. The Indian Act granted men additional authority while also reducing the control that women held. The word squad, which originally meant female or woman, has become connected with negative connotations as a result of the oppression that was practiced during colonial times and the pervasive poverty that exists now. People of Aboriginal descent who were sent to residential schools were taught about what constitutes sexual assault as part of their education. Native American sexual practices were complex, artistically attractive, and closely intertwined with the cultural and spiritual beliefs of the Native American people. Native American societies possessed a profound understanding of the power and significance of sexuality in human existence. This is proven by the fact that they accepted a diverse variety of sexual orientations, and that they revered the holy characteristics of close personal connection. This brings to a close today's research into the mystery surrounding the sexual lives of Native Americans, which uncovered some of the most unusual truths imaginable about their sexual practices. Always keep in mind that having an awareness of and a respect for the great variety of human experiences that have occurred throughout history enables us to construct a present that is more welcoming and compassionate. This is something that should be kept in mind at all times. Thanks for watching. Bye.